Have you ever felt that jolt of panic when you realize a whole year has slipped by, feeling like it was just a month ago? That feeling isn't a metaphor. It's a glitch in your brain's programming, a neurological illusion that is constantly lying to you about how you experience time. The scariest part? It only gets worse with age, as the gentle river of childhood becomes a raging waterfall. But what if you could fight back? Today we're going to expose how this profound illusion works, from the simple math of your lifespan to the chemicals firing in your brain. More importantly, we're going to show you how you can hijack it. This is about taking back control of your own timeline to make your life feel longer, richer, and more yours. So, why does a year, a constant 365 days, feel like it's shrinking? The first clue was proposed over a century ago by philosopher Paul Janet. It's called the proportional theory, and it's simple. When you're 5 years old, 1 year is a colossal 20% of your entire life. Adding another year is a massive expansion of your known universe. Now fast forward to 50 years old, a year is no longer 20%. It's a mere 2% of your life. Psychologically, its weight, its proportion, has been drastically reduced. Your brain doesn't measure time with a perfect internal clock. It measures time relative to the time it has already known. At 10 years old, a year is 10% of your life. At 20, it's 5%. At 80, it's just 1.25%. This creates a constant creeping sense of acceleration. The older you get, the smaller each new unit of time feels compared to the vast archive you've already lived. But it's not that simple. Some years drag on, while others vanish. That's because the proportional theory is just the foundation. The real con artist operates in how your brain writes your life story. And for that, we need to talk about the greatest thief of time, routine. Think back to the summer when you were 8. You might not remember every day, but landmark memories surface. The shock of jumping into a cold lake, the gritty texture of sand in your swimsuit, the specific smell of chlorine at the public pool. Each of those moments was new. It was a first. When your brain encountered these new experiences, it had to work overtime, encoding them as rich, detailed memories. As neuroscientist David Eagleman explains, your brain only bothers to write down dense memories when something is novel. For a kid, almost everything is new. Now try the same thing for last month. Unless something major happened, what comes to mind? Probably work, the commute, making dinner. The days blend into a blur of repetition. You can't remember what you had for lunch last Wednesday because it was almost identical to the Wednesday before. This is the memory thief at work. Your brain is an efficiency machine. When it sees the same thing over and over, it stops paying close attention and creates a cognitive shorthand. Instead of 30 unique commutes, it makes one master file called commute and hits copy-paste. When you look back, the month feels short because in your memory, it is short. This is how a year can feel like a month. You haven't lived 12 distinct months. You've lived 1 month 12 times. So, we have the math of our lifespan and the memory-thieving power of routine. But there's another layer, how we perceive time moment to moment. One theory suggests our brain has an internal pacemaker, a network generating tick-tocks. The speed of these ticks is heavily influenced by the neurotransmitter dopamine. A surge of dopamine, triggered by something new and exciting, appears to kick this internal pacemaker into a higher gear. The tick-tocks get faster. In a single minute, your brain registers more internal ticks and concludes that a lot of time must have passed. This is why time can seem to slow down during a frightening event or when you're in a flow state. Your brain is so flooded with attention that the moment expands. As we get older, our baseline levels of dopamine often decline. The world becomes less new. This may cause our internal pacemaker to slow down. With a slower clock, fewer ticks are generated in that same 1-minute interval. Your brain sees a lower number of ticks and concludes, not much time has passed. The world therefore feels like it's speeding up relative to your slowing internal metronome. Your internal frame rate is dropping, making the external world feel like it's accelerating. As if this internal drama weren't enough, we've built a world that makes things worse. The main culprit is our shattered attention. In an average hour, you're likely working while email notifications and phone alerts go off. This constant distraction prevents us from deeply engaging with the present. When our focus is fragmented, our brain can't properly encode our experiences, and the day feels fleeting because you never fully inhabited any single moment. Then there's our cultural obsession with speed and hustle. The irony is that this relentless chase for efficiency makes our subjective experience of time shrink. By trying to cram more into our time, we lose our sense of the fullness of time. Technology, especially the smartphone, is the ultimate engine for this. The endless scroll is a dopamine slot machine that disengages you from the actual passage of time. An hour vanishes in what feels like 5 minutes. These shallow microdoses of novelty are too superficial to create meaningful memory landmarks, leaving you wondering where the time went. The good news? Now that we know how the illusion works, we can dismantle it. We can hijack the glitch by focusing on 5 key pillars. Pillar 1, the novelty engine. This is our weapon against the memory thief. If routine compresses time, the solution is to consciously inject novelty into our lives, from micro-novelty Take a different route to work, listen to a new genre of music, or cook a new recipe. Each tiny disruption forces your brain off autopilot. For macro novelty, learn a complex skill like an instrument or a language, plan a trip, even to a new neighborhood. The goal is to create new firsts that act as signposts on your timeline. Pillar 2, the attention anchor. This is our defense against the modern accelerant. Cultivate deep, singular focus. Practice monotasking. When you're working, close the other tabs. When you're eating, just eat. Give your loved ones your undivided attention. It transforms a fleeting moment into a solid piece of your life. Also, practice mindfulness. For just 2 minutes, focus on your breath. This trains your attention muscle. Pillar 3, the ritual maker. Routine is mindless repetition. Ritual is intentional repetition that gives time shape. Mindlessly scrolling on your phone is a routine, but a tech-free hour before bed to read a book is a ritual. Create your own. A Sunday morning walk, a monthly dinner with friends. These become anchors in the sea of time. Pillar 4, the storyteller's journal. Your memory is a story you tell yourself. Take on the role of storyteller. At the end of the day, take 5 minutes to journal not just what you did, but how you felt. This cements the day's events in your mind. Or, try this. Recall one specific vivid detail from today, then yesterday, then last week. This trains your brain to hold on to details. Pillar 5, the physical catalyst. Embrace physical activity. Exercise is a powerful neurological tool that can boost dopamine and sharpen your perception. Also, actively seek awe. Awe is the feeling you get staring up at a starry sky or listening to a breathtaking piece of music. Studies show that awe makes us feel like we have more time. Schedule time to watch a sunset or visit a museum. We've gone deep into the strange neurology of our timeline. Now I want to hear from you. Which part of this illusion hits closest to home for you? The memory thief of routine or the ghost in the machine? More importantly, what's one small piece of novelty you're going to inject into your life this week? Drop a comment below. If this gave you a new perspective, do us a favor and hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe for more explorations into how your mind works. The feeling that time is speeding up isn't a personal failure. It's a predictable feature of being human, a glitch born from a mind that measures time proportionally and a memory that values efficiency over detail. It is a lie, but it's one you do not have to believe. You are the architect of your timeline. The past feels short because it lacked landmarks. The future will feel the same unless you choose today to start building them. The solution isn't to fear getting older, it's to get better at living. A life rich with novelty, focus, and ritual will feel longer and fuller than one of comfortable routine. Your brain is lying to you about time, but by understanding its deception, you gain the power to tell it a new story, a slower, deeper, and more vibrant story. Congratulations, you've just taken another step toward mastering psychological self-defense. Here on Psych-Jitsu, we dive deep into neuroscience-based tactics, psychological strategies, and martial arts mindset training to help you protect your mind and navigate any situation with confidence. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss an upload. Psych-Jitsu isn't just theory, it's your first line of defense.